All right, truth seekers, welcome back to the True Alien Podcast. You know what time it is, right? That's right. It's time for your daily dose of the strange, the unexplained, the stuff that makes you go, wait, what?
Haha. Always a good time to dive into the bizarre.
Absolutely. And today's episode is a wild one. It takes a place we all know, high school, but throws in a twist that'll make you rethink those boring history lectures.
Oh, I'm intrigued already. Those long lectures were bad enough without alien intervention.
Exactly. So, get this. We're heading to Northwood High in Minnesota. Sounds normal enough, right? Except this seemingly ordinary school year takes a sharp turn into the Twilight Zone, thanks to some very peculiar new teachers. We've got stories of strange events happening, and get this, there are these 3 students who find themselves unraveling something truly unbelievable.
Teachers causing trouble. This I gotta hear.
I'm telling you, this one's good. Imagine this. Normal high school, lockers, pep rallies, the whole 9 yards. But suddenly, a new faculty arrives. And they're not just your average educators. Their knowledge is off the charts. Their behavior is just a little off. And these 3 students, they start picking up on those little details that don't quite add up. And they soon realize there might be something more to these new teachers than meets the eye.
Sounds like someone's been watching too many episodes of The X-Files.
Maybe a little bit. But hey, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump into this paranormal probe, shall we? You with me?
Absolutely. Lay it on me. I'm ready.
Okay, so the story starts with these reports of new teachers at Northwood High. And right away, people notice they're different. But it's subtle at first, right? They're described as unusually composed, like they never get flustered or stressed.
Yeah.
And their knowledge, oh boy, their knowledge, it's like they've got a direct line to some cosmic Wikipedia or something. We're talking knowing everything about everything.
That would certainly make grading papers easier. But yeah, I see where you're going with this. Too perfect. Almost. Alien.
Exactly. It's that uncanny valley vibe, but for intelligence. And it freaks the students out a little bit. It's just too much. One of the teachers, a physics guy named Mr. Vance, could explain quantum mechanics like it was as simple as tying your shoes. And then you've got the history teacher, Mrs. Albright. She's recounting ancient battles and civilizations like she was actually there taking notes. It just felt wrong. So I got to ask you, from your expert perspective, what kind of explanation could there be for that level of knowledge? I mean, are we talking super geniuses here, or is there something more paranormal at play?
You know, that's what makes this case so intriguing. It's got that classic something's not quite right feeling. And that kind of knowledge, it could point to a few different things, paranormally speaking. Maybe we're talking about beings with lifespans far beyond human comprehension. They've had centuries, millennia even, to accumulate knowledge. Or, and this is where it gets really wild, what if they're somehow downloading information directly, like some kind of cosmic internet plugged into their brains?
Whoa, that's some next level stuff. A cosmic internet, huh? So it's not just the teachers' brains that are acting strange. People start noticing other weird stuff happening, almost like the school itself is getting infected by whatever these teachers are carrying. Lights flicker and buzz during Mr. Vance's physics demos. But not just normal flickering. It's like they're pulsing in rhythm with something. Spooky stuff. Then there are these reports of shared dreams. Students in Mrs. Albright's history class start having incredibly vivid, almost realistic dreams about the events they discussed in class. And get this, everyone's dream is practically identical, like they're all watching the same History Channel special in their sleep.
Shared dreams, that's one for the books. And yeah, those flickering lights, definitely not your average electrical issue. And then there's this almost tangible silence that falls over the hallways whenever these new teachers are around, almost as if their presence is affecting the very environment. It's like the air itself is holding its breath. Spooky, right? In the world of paranormal investigations, flickering lights and eerie silences, they're practically calling cards. But these shared dreams, that's something else. Shared consciousness, telepathic connections, or maybe even something influencing their minds while they sleep. It's all on the table. We got to consider, what are these dreams like? Similar imagery, emotions. It's all clues.
And let's not forget our 3 student investigators. Sarah, the journalist, Ben, the tech whiz, and Max, the conspiracy theorist. These kids are like the Scooby-Doo gang, but with a serious alien problem on their hands. They know something's up, so they start digging. They try to find background information on these new teachers, where they worked before, their families, any trace of a normal life. But guess what? They find absolutely nothing. It's like these teachers popped into existence the day they arrived at Northwood High.
The classic disappearing act. It's one of those things that sends chills down your spine when you're dealing with the paranormal. A complete lack of history often suggests an attempt to conceal origins, and yeah, a non-human origin is definitely on the list of possibilities. It just fuels the mystery. If they weren't who they appear to be, who were they before, and where did they come from? It's enough to make anyone paranoid.
Right. No digital footprint, no social media, no yearbooks, nothing. It's like they beamed down from a spaceship, stepped into the faculty lounge, and said, all right, let's teach these kids about the Pythagorean theorem. But our tech whiz, Ben, isn't giving up. He's got skills, and he manages to access the school's security system. And what he finds there is just wild. The footage of these teachers is all messed up. Their movements are blurry. Their images distort, almost like they're flickering in and out of reality. And this isn't some bad camera work. It's like they're not quite solid. Do you have any theories on that?
It's definitely a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Visual distortions on cameras. We're talking about stuff that might point to tech way beyond anything we can currently imagine. Cloaking devices, energy manipulation, or maybe they're not completely anchored to our realities, like they're phasing through dimensions. The blurred movements are particularly interesting. It suggests a different way of interacting with time and space, which, isn't exactly in the teacher's handbook.
Yeah, phasing through dimensions 101 probably isn't an elective at Northwood High, at least not yet. But let's not forget Max, our conspiracy theorist extraordinaire. He's the one who starts noticing the truly bizarre things, the subtle behavioral quirks that just scream alien. Their speech patterns are too perfect, too formal, like they're reciting lines from a script. Their emotional responses are measured and controlled, almost robotic. And their understanding of human culture feels off. Like they've studied it in a textbook but don't really get it. It's the classic uncanny valley, but for behavior, right?
Absolutely. Max is hitting the nail on the head here. This uncanny valley behavior. It's a hallmark of many alien encounter reports. These beings might look human, but they miss those little nuances, those spontaneous reactions that make us, well, human. It suggests they're mimicking us, studying us, but they haven't quite mastered the art of being human.
And then things take a darker turn. The students start observing how these teachers interact with their classmates, and they notice a disturbing pattern. It seems like the teachers are subtly manipulating students' thoughts, their interests, their behaviors. They're nudging them towards specific career paths, even subtly altering their personalities. It's not just teaching, it's something far more insidious.
Now that's when the alarm bells really start ringing. Subtle influence and manipulation of thoughts and behaviors. That's a classic theme in alien infiltration stories. It suggests a much larger agenda. Maybe they're trying to mold the next generation into something different, to serve their purposes, whatever those might be.
It's all starting to click into place for Sarah, Ben, and Max. They realize that these teachers aren't just observing. They're actively shaping, controlling, preparing the students of Northwood High for something. The big question is what? What's the end game here? What are they being prepared for? In the realm of alien encounters, what are some of the possible motives for this kind of infiltration?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We're talking about motives that could range from long-term observation and study to more sinister goals like resource extraction, genetic experimentation, or maybe even a full-blown takeover. The fact that they're focused on the students, the future generation, speaks volumes. It's a long game and the stakes are incredibly high, but whether their intentions are ultimately good, bad, or somewhere in between, that's a mystery that even the best paranormal investigators struggle to answer.
Our trio of student detectives knows they can't just sit back and let this happen. They have to do something, anything, to expose these teachers, to alert the world to what's going on. But these aren't your typical high school bullies. They're dealing with beings with potentially advanced technology and who knows what other abilities. So they have to be smart. They start gathering evidence, documenting the strange occurrences, secretly recording the teachers' conversations, even trying to collect DNA samples, hoping to prove their extraterrestrial origins. Brave kids, huh?
Absolutely. It's remarkable what they're attempting to do. When we're talking about gathering evidence in the paranormal realm, eyewitness accounts are always the starting point. But photographs, video footage, physical traces, like those DNA samples they're trying to collect, that's the kind of hard evidence that can really make a case. But it's always a challenge, especially when you're dealing with something that might be able to manipulate perception or technology.
And then things get really sci-fi. Remember Ben, our resident tech genius? Well, he pulls out all the stops and creates a device. Now, this device is something special. It's supposed to be able to detect the teacher's true energy signatures, essentially revealing what's hidden beneath those human facades.
A device that can see through disguises? That sounds like something straight out of a comic book. But you know, the idea of using technology to detect unusual energy signatures is something that's explored quite a bit in paranormal research.
Yeah.
Think EMF readers, EVP recorders, things like that. Could we actually build something that could see through alien disguises? That's a question for the theoretical physicists and maybe a few science fiction authors.
I mean, hey, if it works in the movies, why not, right? So our intrepid students come up with a plan. They're going to expose these teachers at the school's annual science fair. Bold move. Talk about a captive audience. But these teachers aren't dummies. They know something's up. They're aware of the investigation, and they start to fight back, subtly manipulating security systems, erasing evidence, even trying to sow discord among the students.
Sadly, that kind of counteractivity, it's not uncommon in alleged alien contact cases. Attempts to discredit witnesses, manipulate evidence, create confusion, it all points to a desire to maintain secrecy, to control the narrative. And that tactic of trying to turn allies against each other, it's a classic manipulation technique, and it highlights the potential psychological warfare involved in these types of encounters.
So the science fair becomes this epic showdown. The students present their findings, their evidence, their homemade alien detection device, but the teachers fight back, using illusions, persuasion, and their own brand of mind games to try to discredit the students. The audience is divided. Some believe, some scoff. It's chaos.
It's a classic battle of belief versus skepticism, truth versus deception. Sadly, that public skepticism, that resistance to believing the unbelievable, it's a major hurdle in almost all paranormal cases. People tend to stick with familiar explanations. And those in power, they often try to maintain control by downplaying or debunking anything that might disrupt the status quo. It's a human thing, really. We like our world to make sense, even when it doesn't.
You know, in a way, that skepticism makes these stories even more terrifying. It's not just the aliens you have to worry about, it's the disbelief of the people around you. But our students, they don't back down. They're determined to get the truth out no matter the cost. In a moment of sheer brilliance, they use Ben's device. They activate it, and the story goes that a pulse of energy washes over the entire gymnasium. And suddenly, the teachers' disguises drop. Their true forms are revealed, and let's just say it wasn't pretty.
I can only imagine the sheer terror and confusion that must have swept through that room. The sudden realization that the people you've trusted, these authority figures, are not what they seem. The typical descriptions of alien anatomy. Larger heads, unusual eyes, sometimes gray or green skin. It's the stuff of nightmares, and to see it revealed so publicly, it's a moment that shatters everything you thought you knew about reality.
I bet. The teachers, they're cover blown, then reveal their true intentions. They admit they're scouts sent to Earth to prepare it for colonization. Northwood High was just a test site, a microcosm to study human behavior and figure out how to best integrate or perhaps conquer. It's a classic alien invasion story, but with a disturbingly realistic twist.
The idea of aliens scouting Earth for potential colonization is a common one, isn't it? And what better place to study us than a high school? It's a melting pot of emotions, social dynamics, and future potential. The whole assimilation angle, that's classic too. It plays into our primal fear of losing control, being absorbed by something other, something alien.
But our student heroes, they're not giving up that easily. They fight back, using their knowledge of the school's layout, their understanding of human psychology, to outsmart these would-be invaders. They use the fire alarm to create a diversion, the sprinkler system to short-circuit the alien tech, and the PA system to broadcast a warning to the world.
It's that classic underdog story, isn't it? Using your wits and your environment to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. It speaks to that core human instinct to resist, to fight for our freedom, even when facing something bigger and stronger. It's inspiring, even in the face of such a bizarre and terrifying situation.
Caught off guard by this unexpected resistance,
Right.
the aliens retreat, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. They leave behind a school in chaos, a community in shock, and a group of teenagers who faced the unimaginable and came out on top. It's a close call, a reminder that sometimes the biggest threats come from the most unexpected places.
Even though they retreated, the ramifications of such an event would be huge. Those students are forever changed, carrying the burden of this knowledge, this secret. And the community, the world, even if they never fully understand what happened, the very idea that something like that could happen, it changes everything.
So the students of Northwood High become the guardians of this chilling secret. They know that what they experienced was real, and they suspect that those aliens, those teachers, might not be gone for good. They're left with a profound sense of responsibility, a knowledge that they might have to face this threat again someday. It's a powerful and unsettling ending to this paranormal probe.
It makes you wonder, what would we do if faced with such a situation? Would we fight? Would we believe? It's a question we all have to ask ourselves, because sometimes the truth really is out there, and it might be closer than we think.
Well, that's our story for today, folks. A seemingly ordinary high school, a group of extraordinary teachers, and 3 brave students who uncovered a truth that could change everything. What do you make of it? Is it a tall tale, a cautionary warning, or a glimpse into a reality we're not quite ready to face?
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the nature of reality, about the possibility of the unknown lurking right under our noses.
Absolutely. It's stories like this that keep us questioning, keep us exploring, keep us looking for answers. So keep your eyes open, folks. You never know what's hiding in plain sight.
And if your teachers start acting a little off, well, maybe you've got your own paranormal probe on your hands.
That's for sure. All right, Truth Seekers, that's it for today's episode of the True Alien Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your friends. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay safe out there.
See you next time.
See you next time.